It's a real pleasure to be here. Can everybody hear me? This mic is working? Okay. So Mary asked me what I might want to talk on, and I said, well, I could give a talk on, discussing comparison studies of organic and conventional farming systems, and I would think at Iowa State University, the Leopold Center, and the number of graduates in sustainable ag that you would be interested in that topic. So that's what I will be talking about. I'm going to kind of break it up into three areas. The last area is most of the talk, but I thought I should just kind of give you some background. I know the folks here are from quite a wide group of areas, and so I'll just kind of talk about organic farming in general, its place in the United States, and also kind of give you an idea of what's going on in Washington State, and then my concept of sustainable ag, and then we'll go into the studies. So I think most of you know this, but in case someone doesn't, there's a USDA definition of organic ag. It's a little bit different than this, but a general definition is that organic agriculture virtually excludes the use of agrochemicals, and I say virtually because there are some synthetic pesticides that are used in organics, like pheromone mating disruptors, but there are very few, but they still use a few. And then, of course, they depend on crop rotations and green manures and compost and natural fertilizers, and also modern technologies. Size of organics, it's been growing. It's pretty big. We sort of look at 1991 as the starting point of when people talk about the 20% growth per year in organic product. Some say 91, some say 97, but from 1991 to today, organic food and beverages have been growing that market in the United States between 16 and 26%. That's big when you consider that the conventional food market grows at about 2 to 4% a year. And in 2007, it hit about 20 billion, which at that time was more than 3% of the market. Some people project that by the end of next year, 2011, that the organic food and beverage market will be at 5%. You can go into grocery stores in small towns. I'm from Pullman. It's smaller than Ames, Iowa. We're about 27,000 people, and the grocery stores all have organic food. They have organic sections. We have Safeway. They have their own organic line. So, and it's really driven by the consumers and by the producers. That's, we do the research, but the big driving force are the producers and consumers. So it's here, and that 3% in 2007, if you look at that relative to the 0.8% in 1997, then you say, wow, it's 3% is not large, but it's significant. And there are about 1,500 new products in the U.S. that are introduced each year, organic products. Now, I put this slide up because it's relevant to my talk. People ask me, well, why do consumers buy organic food? And the big things come up. Well, if you ask consumers, they'll say, well, a lot of them say it's healthier, and they break it down to less pesticide residue, or the food is more nutritious. They perceive that it's better tasting. They feel it's better for the environment. Some have all these reasons, some have one of these reasons. And so those are kind of the drivers of why folks buy organic food. Organics in Washington State, Mary mentioned that we've been in the game for probably longer than most states. We have. In 1985, our legislature passed the Organic Foods Production Act, and that created the Organic Food Program, which is part of our State Department of Agriculture. So that was pretty early. In '88, they started certifying organic products. So we actually had our state certifier, the State Department of Ag, was certifying organic products, and then they fell under, in 2001, when the national guidelines came out, they fell under those guidelines. 2006, they fell under those guidelines. And in 1991, our Center for Sustaining Ag and Natural Resources, it's a little bit different than your Leopold Center, but same concept. It was established. One of the other things we have one of the biggest, if you were to ask me, one of the most significant parts of the organic farming movement was the USDA Organic Farming Report, which came out in 1980. Bob Berglund, the Secretary of Agriculture under Jimmy Carter. I realize that was before most of you were born, except for Mary. It's true. Thanks, Mary. I'm glad you said that, and a few others. But he, in '78, he was Secretary of Ag. He was curious about organic farming, and so he wanted to know about it. So he asked one of his USDA ARS folks to actually look into it, and that was Bob Papendek, who was with ARS, a soil physicist housed at Washington State University, who really knew nothing about organics, and he and a couple others, Garth Youngberg and Jim Parr, went around for about a year looking at organic farms in the United States. In 1980, they published the Organic Farming Report. It was about 90 pages long, and it basically stated that organic farming is a viable movement. They can be economically viable, environmentally sound, and that moved the organic movement, I think, to a different level. So, and he was housed at WSU, and I mention that because I came in '83, so he was adjunct faculty in our Department of Crop and Soils. He was working with us, as do the ARS people here. They work with you. So folks in my department, they were definitely open to good science, but they were open to looking at alternative systems. And I meant 2002. The organic program came about in 2002. So we now have national guidelines. So our State Department of Ag, they still certify. They have to make sure they're at least as stringent as the national organic requirements. And I won't spend detail on that. And then in 2006, WSU started an organic agriculture systems major. It's an undergraduate major. It's the first one. In fact, I think it's still the only one in the country. And I spearheaded the development. I was sitting around with the faculty in 2002, and I brought up the idea, well, why don't we have a major? And there were two reasons for that. One was because we have a lot of folks that are interested in organics, but the bigger reason was actually we were losing folks losing folks in agriculture. People could not say the word agriculture. Now they have to say food production system, even though food, and I do love food, is only part of agriculture. So I wanted more people in agriculture, and I thought, well, if this helps bring more people in, that's good. So that was the second reason. And so we had to go through a whole process. You have to go through all kinds of committees, and actually everything went very smoothly. It just takes forever to go through. You have to talk to faculty, establish a curriculum, go through 5 university committees. We had to do a market survey before that. Market survey took about a year to justify it, a new major. Had to go through 5 university committees. Then you have to go through the Washington State Higher Education Board. I mean, the politics are unbelievable. And so it took about 3.5 years to do all this. And so we have now, it's a science-based curriculum. We have 24 majors right now. So it's pretty good. And it's a lot of fun. And who what? Oh, that's our first, that's Julie Sullivan, and she's our first graduate. She graduated in the organic ag program, and this is taken from the farm, and this is also, we have a 4-acre organic teaching farm, which is also a CSA, so we provide food for between 100 and 110 families in Pullman. We started out, I have a organic farmer that manages it. He works permanently for me, because if I had to grow the food, we'd all starve.
Thank you for watching the Agronomist Podcast. YouTube limits video lengths to 10 minutes. You can watch this seminar in its entirety at the Department of Agronomy website, www.agron.iastate.edu.